Look who it is. It's me. I'm back. First of all, sorry for being absent for almost a week. For some reason, it took 6 days to restore internet at Casa Robinson after some storms we had. But anyways, we're here. Hope you guys are doing well. Just get this going here. It says my chat is not currently available. Let's see if this thing's working. Is this chat working? That doesn't show that's working. Anyways. Let me share this right quick. This link. On the old Discord. All right. So we've got an interesting and fun day ahead of us today. There's not anybody even here. I'm all sad. Anyways, well, I'll quit feeling sorry for myself and just talk anyways. We've got an interesting day today. I was doing a father-son group. I'll show you them. Instagram. Their Instagram account is called Windburn Steel. And here's Windburn Steel. It's a father-son duo out of Virginia. And I collaborated with them last year. And they actually made the Anduril sword from the Lord of the Rings. Actually, this guy right here, this is Jason Knight. He's a knife maker from North Tennessee. He's actually holding my sword. Let me go back. Well, I guess I can't go back. I'll give you guys their link. But oh, it says the video is private. 1 second. Let me see. Silly me. Let's try this again. I had the video private. There we go. What's up, Shane? What's up, Kenny? You guys are in store for a real treat today. Let me just tell you. I'm super excited about today. Kate, Your Majesty, welcome. Adam, Tor, Matt. It's good to see you people. All right, let me go back. So, during the Lord of the Rings project, I collaborated with this father-son duo called Windburn Steel, and their names are Mark and Dale. Let me post this link in the Chisel Chattel. And during and Mark and Dale is a youngster. I mean, he's probably like 16 or 17. I'm just guessing. I'm pulling it out of thin air. But I drew Anduril, which is Aragorn's, King Elisar's sword in the Lord of the Rings. It means the flame of the West. I drew Anduril, and actually this sword right here is Anduril. And this guy's name is Jason Knight. He's another knife maker from North Tennessee. He's also holding Anduril. Here's a picture of it right here. But anyways, I drew it, designed it. They actually made a sword. And they are hopefully going to make Glamdrin. Here you go. Here's a picture of the Aragorn card. The Aragorn card with the Anduril sword. But anyways, super nice group. Super nice team. They got a really cool shop in Virginia. It's only about 8 hours away from me. But, and super excited because this is my sword. I get to have this. It's going to be hanging on my wall soon behind me. And part of the collaboration deal or the barter was if they made the sword for me, I would draw some logos and stuff for them in my style. And so it's taken me a long time, as always, as everything else does. But I drew their logo. And here's their logo that I made for them right here. During the time that I was away from you guys, which I missed you. But this is the logo that I made for them. And let me tell you, this style, it's like a colored woodcut style. I absolutely freaking love this style. Part of the reasons why I like the style is because, I mean, without sounding lazy, it is super easy for me to draw this style. And I find myself in a flow state doing this style of artwork very easily. And I have a very good time and enjoy drawing this style. I drew them, the first logo, the first version I drew, and I'll show you guys. It had some Roman gladiuses at the bottom. Some Roman gladiuses at the bottom. I'm telling you all this stuff because it's important for the context of what we're going to do today. So this was the first version I did. It had some Roman gladiuses, which is the style of sword that's in the background. And then it had custom-made knives, swords and knives. And he liked this. He wanted more European-style swords. And I know that the Roman Empire is Europe, but what he meant by more European-style swords was more kind of like 900, like basically European Middle Ages style swords. This was the first one. Then he wanted to get rid of the banner at the bottom, so this is kind of what we ended. Now, I was drawing this and had a blast doing this. And then I had started thinking about, I've always had this fascination with swords, especially medieval European swords. And that's what these two swords that are on this one are. These are like Type X medieval swords. And I've always been fascinated with swords. And there is, just like with any kind of with anything, there is a kind of a standard classification of swords. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and apologize. Basically today, and this deck that I'm making today, that I'm going to design today, is a total nerd out of swords. And it's basically going to be a deck of cards just about swords. And it's going to be super nerdy, but I don't really care because you can't stop me from doing it. And it's a free country and I can do whatever I want. So, but I was really inspired by this logo and I had a blast doing it. And I've always had this idea of creating this deck of cards based on the kind of standardized system by which they kind of classify these like double-edged, not every sword, but like double-edged European style swords. And it's called the oak shot typology. And the oak shot typology is named after the guy. I can't remember what his name is. I think it's like Rule. Let's see. The guy's name. Ewart. Ewart. Ewart Oakshot. But anyways, he wrote this book. I'll give you some examples. Like, here's the Wikipedia page, which take Wikipedia with a grain of salt. But this is the Wikipedia page, and then these are the different types of swords. And so you heard me say this was a type X, and that's this one. It may not be a type X. Let's see. Depends on that fuller. Yeah, it's more of a type X. It's more of a type 12. But anyways, but this is the Oakshot typology, and he wrote a book called. He wrote this book right here, which I'll give a link to. Now, please know that I just found this link on Google, and it's a PDF of the entire book. So I bought the book both in Kindle form and print form, so I just want to put that caveat out there. I'm just using this as reference. So he wrote this book called Records of Medieval Sword, and it is, let me just tell you, chock full of nerdy information. You've got the types of swords, and so like these diagrams here show the differences of the types of blades. And so like you have the blade shape plus the dark black shape is the fuller shape inside. And then he gives you types of hilts and crossbars. Let me find some more pictures. These are the different types of pommels. I'm going to go ahead and start grabbing some of these. These are different types of pommels. Now, so this, and they're all based on his research. And he was just a guy, he was just like a historian that loved this so much. And he wrote so extensively on it that his kind of like own nomenclature for these types of swords became like the industry standard. It's very much similar to, with playing cards. It'd be kind of similar to like the Hawkman's Guide of playing cards. That would be a good equivalent in the playing card world. And when I was making that logo for Windburn, I just really enjoyed it. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to design a deck of cards that is in that style of that logo. That's in the style of that logo. And it's all about, and each card has a different, each card is going to have a different type of sword on it. And let me just give you some context before we go any further. And I've already done some work. This is not necessarily an Enduro live. This is just me being inspired, and I want to do it. So if we look at this logo, you've got this red shield behind. Then you've got the sword in the front. And then you've got this kind of banner ribbon right there. So we're going to do something similar to that. And so what I've done here is I've already started creating the skeleton of the deck. And so what you got here is this is like a middle shield, and each suit is going to have a specifically shaped kind of like crest shield in the background. That's what this middle shape is. And so like here, this is the spade border right here, the spade shield, and it'll be like blue. Also, like here's the club shield right there. Here's the heart shield. And then here's the diamond shield. And then the area here, this is kind of like the frame. And so this is going to be the same on each card. So you're going to have like your index is here. Well, let me just do it on like another. So let's say this is the 10. And there's like 26 different sword types. And so each index card is going to have a different sword on it. One of the different types of sword. And so let's say we're doing the spade. Just make a new, just to show you kind of how it's going to be. So what we're going to do is, so like say the 10 of spades, we're going to take one of these swords over here, one of the sword types, and so like the 10 of spades, we'll take one of these sword types, and we'll have the sword in the middle. Let's say like the sword is like that. So you have the type of sword that it is. So let's say that this is type X, type 12 from the Oakenshot. And I think the deck is going to be called Oakenshot. And then above, and then so behind the sword, you're going to have the index. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do the 10 yet. So the 10 may be just something that's behind. So, so you'll have the pips behind it. Well, actually, Shane, the pips in Romeo and Juliet, that is not necessarily Italian, and I'm not trying to be that guy. Those are Italian pips, not necessarily European, because the pips we use are French. And I have thought about possibly using. I had thought about that, about using Italian style pips, but we have more than only one suit is swords, and so it kind of doesn't play as well. But that doesn't mean we can't do it, and I'm still open to that. So, and then on the top, right here in the middle, over each of the swords, we're going to have that kind of style banner like that, and it's going to have, and it will have the type of sword. So like if this is the type, if this is type X, if this is type 13A, it'll have whatever type of sword, based on the oak shot typology right there in the middle. And then the aces are going to be like an anvil and hammer, because I'm fascinated with swords and also sword and blade smithing, like the making of sword. And then for the kings and queens, it's going to be similar to where it's not going to have a person on it. But for like a king, the king may be like this, where we have this really cool crown. I know it's a very cartoony crown. Let me try. For the king, it may be something like this. And then there's a sword that comes out of the crown, like that. And then we have like maybe an actual seal. I mean, a shield or something behind it. And something I was thinking about doing for the backgrounds of the shields, we're using like the medieval orders of knights during like the Crusades. So like the Templars, the Hospitals. So like if you have like the Knights Templar shield on it or something like that. I don't know. So you'd have that, and then you'd have like this big, I'm not sure what they call them, but those big sashes. Kate might know. Like the Queen used to wear, sorry, may she rest in peace. The royalty would wear like this big, like, it's like in my head, it's like a blue sash. So let's have this big like royal sash, and then like this kind of like big symbol thing, metal looking emblem on the sash, like that. So that's what the kings and stuff will look like. That's my idea. So that's what we're going to do today. So literally, I'm going to try to design this deck today because I'm inspired by it. I have the spark for it. I want to do it. And sometimes I work like that, where I just get inspired by something. And so here's the thing. There is a company called Albion Swords, which is amazing. They make amazing swords, and they're very simple and clean. And a lot of their stuff is all of their stuff is based on those types of swords, the oak shot typology. So if I click on this, you can see here, right here, it says the Reeve. And it says the Reeve Type X. And so that Type X is referring to that this is a Type X oak shot typology sword. And we're going to be using Albion. Albion as kind of like the reference for a lot of these swords, because I'm just a fanboy. I'm just a fanboy of their stuff. And they also just have a lot of good information. They even have like, let's see. They even have like their own, let me see here. Here it is. They have their own, so this is like their page about the oak shot. Let me see. No. They just have a lot of good information. They have a thing where they have their own. That must be the sword. I'm trying to find. I had this up yesterday. Here we go. So this is theirs, and they have 26. So what I'm thinking, I'm not really sure how I'm going to separate them, and I'd be super stoked if you guys help me try to figure out. I'm going to put this link to this image in there as well. Let me copy, zoom into this. What I'm probably going to do is, because I have more, what I'm probably going to do is, each suit will have X number of swords and types. And what I'll probably do is, on the different suits, I'll create like different pommel styles and crossbar styles and handle styles for each suit. So that, because we're going to have to duplicate. So like there may be 2 type X's, but there'll be a different style. But this is the one this is what we're going to use as our kind of like Bible, I guess you could say. So let's get to it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to finish the wood grain on all these background things. So if you guys have any questions, just shoot them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. They don't have to be about this deck. They can be about anything. So I'm going to be working on this today. It's not going to necessarily be like an enduro where I just nonstop, but I'm going to take a few breaks and eat breakfast and drink coffee and come back, and I'm going to keep working on this. My goal is to finish this deck today. What do I have planned for the card backs? What I've got planned for the card backs is something similar to this, but like doubled over. I also designed a back while I was gone for a men's group that I'm a part of that's in the same style. I've been kind of a kick on this kind of style, and I'll show you that back design in that deck. But it's going to be very similar to this back design. Let me find it. The back design will be similar to this. Where is it? There it is. So this is part of, here's the seal, the crest for it. And here's the tug case. So this is the seal for the group, the men's group that I'm a part of. It's called apogee. And the Latin just means iron sharpens iron. And we're the first class that's going through it this year. So this is that same gladius that kind of got me going. And here's the back design. So the back design for the sword deck, the Oakenshot deck, will be very similar to this. You'll have the whatever shield or something, I don't know. And then here's the tuck case for that deck. It's not finished, but here it is. So that can kind of give you an idea of where I'm going with this. It'll be very similar. The way this is colored Same style, same coloring style, all that kind of stuff. So what I'm doing right now is just working on the background element of the shields, the wood plank shields. I'm just drawing the wood grain. I know it's super exciting, but yeah, it's kind of like, that's a good way to say it. But the deck that I designed for that men's group is going to be like it's a 501c3 nonprofit, and I'm going to sell that as to raise money for the foundation or the 501c3. I'm not sure which one of these is the biggest. Let me find out which one of these is the biggest. Maybe that one. Something that I like about this deck, and playing cards in general do this, and I guess it depends on the deck itself and the kind of concept and design behind it. But I love like design systems, and that's probably one of the reasons why I like playing cards so much, is because it's not a church group. It's not a faith-based church group. It's kind of like a leadership men's development group, I guess you could say. But I love, going back to what I was saying, I love design systems and things that have systems I'm fascinated with, and I always find it very very therapeutic and interesting to design systems. And what I mean by systems is, like with a deck of cards, you've got a border. You've got a border, and this is not always. I'm just telling you what a system is. You've got a border, you've got suits, you got suit colors, you got suit pips, you got suit pip shapes, and those design elements kind of go across the whole deck of cards and create the system that you're kind of like the system and the backbone of your concept or your theme. And I love that. And one of the reasons why I'm excited about this deck is because it's going to be very system based, to where each suit has this shield in the background. They have their shield color, the pip shape, that kind of thing. And so I love that kind of stuff, and so that's why I'm excited about this deck. And and that's and the playing card system is prevalent in all of mainly all of playing cards. If you do a decent job of designing a deck of cards, you have a decent grasp of creating an interesting system, and the extent of that system may depend on the design, the concept, but with this one, it's going to be very system heavy because of the way everything is kind of like. I mean, I'm literally making a deck of cards based on a nomenclature of types of swords. So it's like a system within a system within a system. I love it. Can I turn the music up? Yeah, sure. right, let's pick our colors. We're going to do blue. Let me just do this. We're going to do blue for spades. The idea for the 4 frames is nothing really. It was just kind of like a inspiration from like a shield. So like here's the original design I did for Windburn Steel. So you have this shield in the background. And this is just kind of like, I know that part of that system that I'm doing is going to have this shield type structure in the background. So that's kind of and there's really no specific inspiration for this shape. I just kind of I actually drew a bunch of them. So like right here, I just went through and just drew a bunch of shapes like this and just kind of kept drawing them until I got ones that I liked. This is just me experimenting with all the different types of shapes and stuff. When inspiration hits me, do you have to finish that or can you put it down? I can. I do have enough self-control that I can put it down, but it doesn't mean I have to do that. And I'm just really, I'm about to have to set in and work pretty heavily over the next month doing Lord of the Rings stuff. Excuse me. And this was honestly just me just taking a quick break and kind of doing something relaxing, even though Lord of the Rings stuff will be relaxing for me. This was kind of just me kind of relaxing and doing something a little more I don't know. This is kind of a vacation for me, doing this kind of deck. So I'm just kind of having some fun, which I'm going to have fun doing the Lord of the Rings deck, but I'm just kind of having some fun before I kind of dive into the deep water of doing all the Lord of the Rings stuff. I don't know if that makes sense or not. And when I go to Virginia to hook up to get my sword, to get the Anduril sword from Mark and Dale, they're gonna let me hang out the whole day and like do some forging and stuff, which I am super pumped about. Oh, little crash. I have worked traditionally with pencil and paper and ink in the past, but I don't really that much anymore, just out of necessity, because I have to design so many decks that it's just faster. And because so much of what I do is, you know, either online or always has to be digital anyways for print, I just do everything digital because it's easier. It's like what I'm good at. It's what I'm efficient at, what I'm fast at. All right, for diamonds, we're going to do like an orange. The oak shot, Kenny, the oak shot typology is not, it doesn't really cover like caged hilts, like, you know, like Scottish caged hilt broadsword. They won't be straight though. If you see right here, they're gonna have like, there's these different types. So I'll kind of do my own thing and design my own within reason. Could we see this deck out in 2023? Actually, yeah, for sure. To be honest with you, I'll probably end up finishing this week, and I'll do like a pre-order next week, and we'll see it soon because I like it so much. That's probably what's going to happen. I don't know about this. I don't know about the tuck case yet, but I like that idea. A sword tuck case like Arthurian. Maybe for like the gilded version. Yeah, I like it. We'll find out soon enough, I guess. Probably majestic. I like red. I'm not a big fan of purple. Purple is my least favorite color. Red being my favorite color. That's why I named my daughter Scarlet. I'm just kind of blocking in this color for each one of these. I'll go back and do more detailed stuff later. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to knock out these backgrounds, and then I'll knock out basically the sword shapes. I'll draw the swords, and then I'll go back and color the swords. I'll be working on this deck kind of in big batches. Like I'll do one of everything, like one of all of this first, and then I'll go back. Excuse me. Yes, I will be doing that. I'll probably be doing like a number 13 maker's mark on all the swords because that's cool. Oh. I think the Jokers are going to be, the Jokers might be all the sword types lined up, because that's why you usually kind of see it with the oak shot typology. The aces are going to be anvils and hammers, like blacksmithing tools, I think. See, even the way I'm approaching drawing and coloring this is very systematically, where I'm doing like, okay, I'm doing this drop shadow on all of the backgrounds. That way it's consistent. It helps it keep it consistent. Just thought I'd point that out. All right, while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and do the shadows and stuff for this background for the main border. What else, peep? What else you got? What can we talk about? What can we talk about? Come on, come on. And the way I'm going to shade this is going to mean the chords are all one way. And there's nothing you can do about it. I haven't seen it yet. I love that. I love the video game, The Last of Us. I may have to check it out. This is supposed to be like wrought iron or something.
Try so hard to waste it all, waste our love before it's gone. And just like kids are cheating death, we lose our minds and hold our breaths, and cut right through the glossy layers, with no time for empty prayers. Always someone to defeat, but no surrender, no retreat.
How many swords do I don't have that many. I've got a claymore, and then I've got 4 Lord of the Rings swords behind me. And then I've got a tomahawk that my dad gave me.
Try so hard to waste it all, waste our love before it's gone. You aimed right at my blue suede heart, still alive, I count my stars. And this is how we live.
The Lord of the Rings swords are display swords. The claymore over here, it's a functional sword. It's cut your hand off sharp, for sure. And the claymore is based on a historic. I can't remember exactly which one, but it's it's based on a historical claymore. And the sword that Windburn Steel made, and Drill, it's a functional sword as well.
Like fireworks in the sky, going up, coming back. We're like fireworks in the sky. We light it up, you and and just like porcelain, we are broken and put together again over and over. We're worn like Levi's and torn like blue skies. We burn like fire. We burn like
What's up, Sergio? Man, I love Elder Scrolls. Skyrim was probably one of my favorite games. Skyrim, Assassin's Creed, and Red Dead Redemption were probably I love those open world MMOs, and also Mass Effect. I loved Mass Effect. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom right quick. Excuse me. I'm back. Let me put the shadows. Let me put this drop shadow on the shields. Boom, boom, boom. I love this song. That looks nice. All right. I think I got all the. Well, let me do the wrought iron borders. Just put the texture on them. 10 more minutes. Before I'm gonna go eat some breakfast with my bride. I'm not ready for that yet. All right, let me consolidate all of the lines because I'm going to do my little effect on them. Okay, let me just kind of review what we've gotten done so far. We've gotten the base. We've kind of gotten the base border structure created. We got the main border here, boom. We've got the suit shields. We got the spade, the diamond, the heart, and the club. So I'm gonna go have some coffee with my wife and some breakfast. I'm gonna take a little walk, get some fresh air, some morning sunlight, and then I'll be back. I'll be back after that, maybe about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna continue working on this. What I'll probably do when I get back is the sword types, and maybe I may make the index stuff, just so I can start blocking it in. But I'm pretty excited about this deck. Let me see if... Let me just check something right quick. I don't know if Tim has the Wednesday weekly update video done or not yet. So I'm gonna check. Doesn't look like it. But later today, so I'm going to be working on this all day today. Pretty excited about it. So I will see you guys about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Thanks. I'm glad I got internet back so I can do this more. Keep doing this. Yeah. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for joining me. Talk soon.